So, have you ever been in the middle of a great hot shower and then bam, it turns into an icy nightmare? Yeah, that feeling, that's exactly what we're tackling today. We're going to dive deep into the world of water heaters, pitting the traditional tank against the modern tankless system. Let's figure out what's right for you.
We have all been there. You're just starting to relax, and suddenly the water goes frigid. It is the absolute worst. That exact moment of shock and frustration is why choosing the right water heater is a much bigger deal than you might think.
And that brings us to the two big players in the game, the classic storage tank heater that you probably grew up with, and the new kid on the block, the on-demand tankless heater. Let's see how they really stack up. Okay, so here's the fundamental difference, and it's pretty simple. A traditional tank heater is basically a giant insulated thermos that keeps a bunch of water hot 24/7, just waiting for you to use it. This leads to something called standby energy loss. A tankless system, think of it more like a high-tech coffee maker that heats the water instantly, but only when you turn on the tap. No storing, just heating on the fly. All right, let's really get into it. We're going to put these two systems side by side and look at everything. Performance, how much space they take up, how long they last, to see which one really wins out for your home. When we talk performance, there's a really interesting trade-off. With a tank, you get hot water pretty much instantly at the faucet. But that supply is limited. Once those 50 or so gallons are gone, you're waiting. A tankless system, on the other hand, has a little bit of a delay while it fires up, but once it's going, the hot water just keeps on coming. It's endless. And here is a huge practical difference: space. We all know what a traditional water heater looks like. It's a big, bulky cylinder that eats up a ton of floor space in your basement or utility closet. But tankless units, they are tiny in comparison. You mount them right on the wall, and suddenly you've got a whole closet's worth of storage space back. That's a game changer for a lot of people. Now, what about how long they last? Well, this is another key factor. A tankless heater can easily last 20 years, sometimes even more. That's often double the lifespan of a traditional tank heater. And here's the big one for peace of mind. Since a tankless unit doesn't store gallons and gallons of water, your chances of coming home to a flooded basement from a catastrophic leak are way, way lower. Okay, now, tankless systems aren't perfect. They have a couple of funny little quirks. You might have heard of the cold water sandwich. You know when you turn the hot water off for a second, then turn it back on and get a quick blast of cold? That's it. There's also flow rate to think about. The unit can only heat so much water at once, so running 2 showers and the dishwasher might be a challenge. That's why getting it professionally sized for your home is absolutely crucial to avoid these issues. Now for the million-dollar question, or at least the several thousand-dollar question, what's this all going to cost? For a lot of us, the bottom line is the real deciding factor, so let's break down the money. This chart really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Tank heaters are way cheaper to buy and install upfront, no question. But because those tankless heaters aren't burning energy to keep water hot all day, they're cheaper to run every single month on your utility bill. It's a classic case of pay less now or save more later. And you've got to be realistic about that return on investment. If you've got a big family that uses a ton of hot water and you live somewhere with high energy costs, you might see that payback in just 5 to 7 years. But, for a smaller household that doesn't use as much, it could honestly be more than a decade before those energy savings catch up to the higher initial price tag. Okay, let's talk about something that gets underestimated all the time: the installation. I gotta tell you, switching to a tankless system isn't always a simple one-for-one swap. A tankless heater is a seriously power-hungry machine. So if you're thinking about a gas model, is your gas line even big enough to feed it? Well, you need totally new, maybe more complex venting. And for one of those big electric models, can your electrical panel even handle that kind of juice? These upgrades can add a significant amount to the total cost, so you need to know about them up front. So after all that, how in the world do you actually decide what's right for your house? Let's walk through a quick personal checklist to help you figure it out. First up, just think about your demand. A family of 4 with 3 bathrooms where maybe multiple showers are running at the same time before school, well, you're going to need a much beefier system, either a huge tank or a really powerful tankless unit, than, say, a couple living in a 1-bedroom apartment. Think about your most chaotic morning. What does that look like? If you've got a shower going, the dishwasher running, and a load of laundry on all at once, you need a system that can keep up with that peak demand without quitting on you. This is exactly why getting a professional to calculate your home's flow rate is so important. Something you might not think about is your climate. It actually plays a huge role. If you live up north, that water coming into your house in the winter is frigid. That means your water heater has to work way harder, which affects its efficiency and how well it can keep up. A tankless unit's output, for example, actually goes down when the water coming in is colder. And finally, let's just be real about the budget. Are you truly prepared for the total cost? Not just the sticker price on the unit itself, but also for those potentially expensive upgrades to your gas lines, your venting, or your electrical system. So, to wrap it all up, here's your checklist. 1. Weigh the initial cost against realistic long-term savings. 2. Figure out your family's peak hot water demand, not just your average use. 3. Get your home's infrastructure checked out. And most important of all, talk to a qualified pro to get an accurate size and a real quote. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this one question. Is that luxury of truly endless hot water worth the much bigger upfront investment and the potential installation headaches? We've given you the tools to make a smart choice. Now it's your turn to figure out the perfect fit for your home. Hope this helped.